How you doing, folks? Chad here. Welcome back to the farm. Part 2 of this workshop build. You can see I have the roof structure on, and you can definitely see the shape, the style of this workshop now. I got all the plywood and the underlayment on the roof. Hopefully it'll keep the water out until I can get the shingles on, but I still have a little bit of the wood. So that's what I'm gonna get done today, because it's supposed to rain later and tomorrow, and a whole bunch more rain's coming, and it's getting ridiculous because the floor in here is getting all wet. I put these tapes, the tuck tape on the seams of the plywood, hoping to prevent the water from getting underneath and sitting on the vapor barrier, but it's been raining like crazy. So I want to get that done today. You'll see that a little bit later. But for now, let me take you through the spiel of how I got from the foundation and walls to the roof. And I'll walk you through what I've done so far to get it to that point. In order to fulfill the chosen roof design of this workshop, I needed to install this column with these two beams going across. Each beam is 13.5 feet. So it's 26 feet across. I wouldn't have been able to use one single beam, hence the column. I've never built anything in my life using plans, so I'm definitely not going to start now. I build all of the structures just measuring and cutting and creating the design right then and there on the spot. And I enjoy the challenge. I really enjoy using my hands. And so far, I'm happy with the way this workshop is turning out. Whether you're a pro builder or a handyman type builder like myself, you always have to take it slow and steady and be sure that you're being as safe as possible when working alone the way I do. Once I get this little 2-foot wall installed, I'll be able to double sill the top, and that's where the roof trusses are going to sit on. I'm using 2x8s for the roof trusses, installed 16-inch on center. Just giving it a little shake to see how stable it is. I'm going to end up using all these offcuts as blocking in between the roof trusses. The structure is a tiny bit wobbly, so before I start hiking my body up to the roof to get those sheets of plywood up there and the shingles and have it be wobbly, I'm going to install some of the sheathing on the walls first, and that'll definitely shore up the stability of this thing. You know, when you're building things all alone by yourself, solo, it's up to you to use some ingenuity and creativity to make installing certain things possible. think this is where I'm going to put the main entrance, my entrance, you know. When I come to my workshop, I'll have a door right here. I'm just trying to figure out exactly where it would be. But if I start here and end here, that'll make it right here, and then it's a swing door this way. Boom. Because I'm building this thing out of my head, you know, from a picture in my head, I have no plan. So the way I made this front area, it kind of zigzags around the tree. And I didn't really know how to calculate the height of the wall here, because as you can see, the truss doesn't quite yet hit the wall, which is 6 feet. So that side of the wall is 6 feet, and it angles down this way. So I needed to wait until I got this on, so that now I know that this is the height. So I can continue building my wall right here, and I know that this is the height, so that all of these trusses will be sitting on top of that height. You know what I'm saying? I was going to start putting the plywood up on top of this side, and then this is the low side, and I'm thinking, how the heck am I going to put the plywood up there? It's probably 8.5 feet high on this side. I am a pretty strong guy, but I'm going to have to put a ladder there and hike up the plywood. And the plywood is like, you know, heavy plywood. So my plan then is to finish this side with all of these trusses, finish the whole side. And then because this side is a lot lower, this side is 6 feet, and I might be able to just shift or shuffle all of the plywood onto this roof. Then if I build this roof first, then I can walk on it normally and it's fine. And then I can hike it up to there, right? And then just slide the plywood down and do the plywood that way. That would probably save my shoulders and my back. Otherwise, I need some kind of a hoist or something, which I don't have. I don't want to make one. Dilemma. Just trying to get this lower level roof covered in the underlayment so at least it has some kind of water resistant barrier in case it rains. Look, Fozzie's coming down. Fozzie! You're a good boy. Fozzie! Here you are, buddy. How are ya? You okay? You checking out my work, eh? So of course, I'm up here on the upper roof. I'm starting to put the waterproof underlayment on and it's raining. Go figure, it's raining. I got like maybe an hour and a half more work to get this done. So I only have the 2 strips on the side of the underlayment. I still have to do the whole width. You can see the rain's dripping in on me. That means the floor is going to get wet a little bit, but what can I do? But honestly, it's not 100% waterproof underlayment anyway, because you're sticking a whole bunch of staples through it. Some people, they'll put like a tuck tape on top of the staples, but really it's just a defense. If any water does penetrate your shingles, you have that barrier. So, but now I'm just going to wait a few minutes, get this rain stopped so I can get back up there and finish this. How about I talk a little bit about the design of this place? So obviously you can tell that there's 2 roofs, right? There's like an upper roof and a lower roof. This little opening right here is the front door, and I'm just going to build like a set of stairs right there leading up to the door. I'll be putting in, you know, like an insulated front entry door that you buy at the hardware store. As you come in the front door here, what I've done is I've put 2 windows along the side. So you can see those big openings there. Those are just generic windows, again, that I've purchased at the hardware store, and I built the building to suit those windows. But I put windows over there just because the sun kind of comes up over there on this side, and then maybe it'll give some daylight and it won't be so gloomy inside here. But I don't know. I just thought for future thought process, it might be nice if you have a couple windows. And even if I don't get a lot of daylight, at least I can look out and see the beautiful forest. So that's always cool. Might spot a turkey or a deer or something. See, the rain's already slowing down. I got a window in the front here too. You see this big opening? It's like 36-inch opening. That's basically one big window at the front. So when you're on the outside, it'll just look a little more aesthetically pleasing with a nice window there, I think. I'm thinking right next to the front door here, I could have a bunch of wood that's ready for the wood stove. Probably in that corner there, I'll have the wood stove. I'm still on the lookout for very tiny wood stoves. All the wood stoves that I've seen at any of the big box hardware store, they're like $2,500 Canadian. And they're like, they do a big area, you know, like 1,500 square feet, 2,000 square feet. So I don't really want that. This is less than 500 square feet. So I just need a little, tiny little, just to give me some heat in the winter, you know. Also, from where the upper roof joins with the lower roof, there's going to be 3 windows. Boom, boom, boom. Just to give it some style. Something nice, aesthetically pleasing, and maybe a little bit of daylight in here. And of course I had to put this big column in here. I do have a cement pier directly below this that'll carry the load. And of course I built these huge beams to go across either side, and this column is holding it up. Yeah, I think it's good. And look at that, sun came out. I'm using this U20 Rhino underlayment. I just picked it up from Home Depot. It's supposed to be a waterproof barrier, so it's relatively inexpensive. I think it'll do the job. So now that I have it somewhat covered in and, you know, waterproofed, I need to work on the shingles. I'm going to be using an asphalt shingle simply because I still have a lot in stock and I'll only have to buy a little bit more to finish. I still have to go through and put some blocking in here because I didn't do that because I was trying to finish the roof as fast as possible because I knew this rain was coming. And then I'm going to put a whole bunch of hurricane ties up there on all the trusses just to give it some added support and make sure it's not wavering, you know what I mean? Then after all that's done, I'm going to continue with the sheathing on the outside. I started with some of the sheathing prior to me going up on the roof because the sheathing helps give it some stability and it's not so wonky. And once you have all of the sheathing on, it really shores it up. It's not going anywhere. So that's the next step, is the sheathing and then the house wrap, and that'll make it waterproof enough for me to continue the project. Even if it starts to get cold and snowy out, I can still work on the inside. So stay tuned for part 3 of this workshop build. It's going to be an insulated workshop because I'm sick and tired of being cold in the winter. And since I'm building it fresh, I might as well do it right. You know what I'm saying? I'm not exactly sure how many episodes it's gonna take to finish this, but right now we're only on episode 2. So we still have many more episodes to go for the construction of this little project, and it's gonna be fun. So subscribe to the channel if you like this sort of thing. If you like anything to do with farming, tools, equipment, tractors, animals, we have a lot of fun here at the Hidden Spring Farm.